All right. I'm finally getting to a few of these. So much anticipation for this year in music. I have to start with this review, and many more to come, rest assured. Seriously though, why does The Weeknd's album covers continue to scare and freak me out? Dude, what's your deal? Welcome back to Y.E.S, everyone. Today we are talking about Dawn FM, the 5th studio album released by The Weeknd. And since it's been a while, and because I actually have a lot to say about this album, I've got my notes on my iPad, and I've got my notes. The notes I usually listen to, trying to get more sophisticated with the tech, but sometimes writing stuff down just works better. Since I started this channel, I have reviewed My Dear Melancholy, that EP he released a little while back, and then he also released After Hours, which I liked, but everyone else really loved that album. This one I'm not 100% sure how everyone else has felt so far, because it got released at the very beginning of the year, but I have to say, for me at least, this one surprised me probably in the most positive way possible thus far. The Weeknd decides to give us 16 tracks. Lately, that has been something that I have been kind of wishy-washy on. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. This is one of those cases where I'm like, no, it's okay. You are an artist that has at least proved himself many times in the past with a decent number of good songs, so a longer-ish album is okay by me, as long as it's good. Thankfully, this one is. Probably by this time, you're already pretty familiar with the track Take My Breath. Which does have a kind of bizarrely interesting music video. I don't know if everybody is really on board with it, but I'm like, all right, that one made me think a little bit. It wasn't too artsy, but it was like, okay. Worth looking at a second time, I guess. I also was personally really interested in the track right before it, How Do I Make You Love Me? This one kind of delves into just kind of a longing, a desire for relationships, confirmation of some kind, or approval. I think a lot of us can relate to stuff like that. This one definitely, I think, is aiming at a slightly more romantic angle. But strangely enough, I do feel like this can be taken in multiple angles if you actually are thinking of whichever other person or thing this could be targeted toward. Now, right after these two tracks, there's a song called Sacrifice. Which basically is either or. Which one do I do? Selfish sacrifice or deal with the fact that I can't 100% commit to this other thing? Skipping down to the 7th track, I really like Out of Time, which has great bass, synth, strings, flute. Yeah. Pretty well rounded right here. And the last track I would like to give a lot of positive emphasis toward is Less Than Zero. Now, as I mentioned, 16 tracks. That's quite a bit to cover here, so what else do I have to say? Well, there are a few tracks in here that focus a lot on the radio DJ. This album kind of has that theme of being kind of a studio projected idea. It just happens to all be The Weeknd songs. And what would you know? The radio DJ happens to be Jim Carrey. Yeah. That goofball right there. I thought he did a pretty good job. There are moments where I thought, I don't know if this is trying to be strangely, pretentiously profound, but a lot of the times it just feels like it's just kind of a comedy bit, or in some way it is musically appropriate and kind of ties in some of the other themes, or is allowed to segue on into the next portion of the album, depending on what part you're at. So here we start from mostly positive, and now we're going to get into some of the what categories. There's a track in here called Every Angel is Terrifying. It's kind of like spoken word, question mark, that somehow also transforms into a radio ad somehow. I don't dislike it, but it does perplex me quite a bit. Like, there's part of this track that I feel is justified, but kind of the fusion between the two ideas seems a little just odd, I suppose. And then there are a few songs that just didn't grip me entirely, but just didn't grip me entirely. Like the song Gasoline, it is interesting, but I don't personally find it very gripping. That's just a personal sentiment. Then he has a track called I Heard You're Married, Girl, which I actually am surprised by the pretty mature take that The Weeknd has for the lyrical content in this track. The only thing that I don't dislike, but I find also somewhat just like, what, is Lil Wayne's feature. Not the fact that he's in it, it's just the fact that he is chosen to be auto-tuned for this song, and it just feels a little out of left field. Like, it's not like he hasn't used that before, but am I supposed to believe that this is the most appropriately musically accompanying style? I'm not really buying that. And then probably the only thing that I was really like, I don't care for that, is the track Here We Go Again. Now, the reason I don't favor this one is just simply because of Tyler, the Creator's feature in here. I don't know what it is. The whole thing just gave me fan service vibes, and I just wasn't feeling it. I'm sure a lot of other people are going to disagree with that. They're probably going to be like, ooh, that's a cool feature. For me, I'm just like, I didn't need that. Now, despite that last comment and a couple of other nitpicky critiques of mine, I'm actually very shocked how much of this album I would put into my 2022 playlist. So after having listened and reviewed this album with the following grades in the following categories here, how would I recommend this album? I am going to give it a yeah. I don't feel like a lot of other people are really dragging this one down, but I just haven't heard a lot of personal praise for it yet. But then again, there might be a lot of music out there this year that I just haven't yet found. I have done some reviews, I just haven't made official recordings for them. We'll get to that. I promise a lot is coming your way very soon. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It really means a lot to me. Be sure to follow me in my social media links down to the description below, and be sure to leave a comment of what you would like for me to review next, or anything else you would just like me to talk about in regards to entertainment. But above all, remember to chase excellence, chase quality, chase yes. Remember, we are your entertainment specialists.